How's it going, Deba? How's it going this week, girl?
It's going great. It's slow but surely moving. We're working in the right direction.
Yes, yes. What's this week been like for you? I know we're like halfway through the week, so what's going on in your world right now?
My world is like flipping upside down. I'm not joking. Like, I am going through a realignment with my business right now. So, what does that mean? That means I'm starting to put pressure on people. I'm starting to inspect what I want to see happen. So, with that pressure and with new accountability, some people are staying and they're like, hey, I like this. I like this accountability. Things are working. Others are like, this is not what I want. This is not what I signed up for. So I'm out. So, good and bad, I roll with it. And these are things people don't tell you about being an owner. You still got to check your culture. You still have to understand that even though people walk away, that's not you. That may be some things that you can change. It is a time to be reflective, but it's a great opportunity to make changes. It's a great opportunity to put the right people in place. And I'm excited of what can be now that I'm able to shake things up, and it's building my confidence of I know what I bring to the value, what I bring to the table, and I know what
Mm.
I need, and I'm not just taking whatever comes your way.
Ooh, oh my goodness. I just have to just comment on that real quick, Deborah, because I think that in the beginning, especially in the beginning, when you are just trying to fill these positions because you just need the help, you are so vulnerable that you will just allow pretty, I mean, not just anybody,
But
but
just anybody, let's
but
keep
just
it
anybody.
real.
And then they get into these roles and it's like a battle because you give them instruction and you think that you're being clear, but there's just some sort of a disconnect.
Yeah.
And I feel like with me, I held on to people way longer than what I should have, just because
Yes.
of that vulnerability of, God, I don't want to have to hire somebody else. God, I don't want to have to, the transition between, letting this person go and feel, it was, but you know what? At the end of the day, it does not make sense to have somebody in your organization who is not helping you grow.
No. And
It
it's
just
and I
doesn't.
yeah, oh my gosh, you are speaking truth because I've had people that I'm like, okay, this is as far as their capacity can be. Instead of me like, they probably need to go, what do? I go hire somebody else to just do this one thing. And
Oh,
then I'm looking at my sheet, like I got 5 people that honestly that could be condensed to one because I don't want to be confrontational and I don't want to deal with conflict. Or I'm like, they've been with me from day one, and it was more or less like I'm looking at it like I have a leak. Instead of me dealing with the leak and dealing with the piping and dealing with that, I just put a band-aid on it.
yep.
And then the band-aid is like, and then I'm mad at the band-aid, but I'm like, who am I mad at? I'm mad at myself because I should have just dealt with the entire piping, and I was trying to be cheap. And now I'm at a point that I will pay you top dollar to be what I need you to be, and I will take care of you. And
Mm.
you have to grow to that. And so as you're starting your first business, you may have to hire an aunt. You may have to hire somebody that's in your family that may not do everything that you need, but they can help you get the tools going and keep it moving. You just have to be mindful when it's time to let go and really start moving up with your market and where you want to envision yourself and your organization going.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, you just get to a point where you're like, the people that I hire for these specific roles, I need you to be an expert. Like, I really want you to know more than me in this area
Yes.
because I want you to be able to add value to me and say, hey, Tilisa, have you considered this? And
Yes.
open up my mind, give me a different perspective. I don't always want to be the one. Yes, I'm the founder. Yes, I'm the owner, whatever, but I'm nothing without a team. And I need
Yes.
a team of experts. That's what I need.
Yes.
A
That's what
team
I
of
need.
experts. And I think a lot of the times new entrepreneurs feel like I have to spend a ton of money if I want to get somebody who's specialized in this area. But that's not always the case. You got kids getting out of
Mm-mm.
college who specialize in social media marketing. And
Yes.
they'll do it for $300 a month or $400 a month or whatever the case. They just need some
Yes.
extra money. You just have to find the people with those specialized skill sets
Yes.
and offer them the job.
Right, right. And be willing to look outside of your circle of people. Like get in LinkedIn, get in Indeed, post them jobs for real. Because you know what? If you set it up as it's for real, then you're going to get that clientele that's for real and not someone that's just like, oh, this is just like a little freelance job I can do. If you bring the realness of this is a real job, I expect you to be here on time, I expect you to do this, and call them out early.
Whew.
That's what I did not do. And I'm
Yeah.
working now. I'm like, now I'm going back, like calling people out, and they looking at me like, oh, Deborah's being a bitch today.
Right.
Yeah.
She's mean. I thought she was
I
nice.
thought she was nice. She's always talking about love and all this stuff. No, like we got to get shit done. Like, come on. If I and I tell now I'm at a point like if I don't get paid, you can't get paid. So I'm gonna need y'all to
Hmm.
help me get paid.
Thank you. Because what are we here? Yes, we're here to help people. Yes, we're here. But at the end of the day, we in the business of making money,
Yeah, because if
honey.
if it don't work, like we gonna all be looking at looking at LinkedIn and Indeed together. So I'm gonna need y'all to step up. And I think it's like in my mind and how I grew up is like wherever you are, make it better than where you started. So when you leave, it's
Yes.
better, right? And
Yes.
I think there's a lot of people that they just want a job where they can just go in, do a little, but they want all the success, they want all the raving, they want
Yep.
all the awards, but you don't put in the work.
But you don't put in the
Come on.
work. I need you to care just as much as I care. My acquisitions, one of my acquisition specialists, she and I were supposed to call a seller yesterday at 6 p.m. And I don't know what happened. I lost track of time. I looked at my phone. It was 6:45. I was like, oh my God. So I called and I had a missed call from her. So I called her. I said, Jackie, I'm ready to call the seller. She said, Tilisa, don't worry about it. I already contacted the seller at 6. I spoke to her. This is what we talked about. We're going to call her back tomorrow with you on the phone. And I'm like, girl, that
Can I clone her?
girl,
Can I clone her for
girl.
real?
I
For
said,
real.
Jackie, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do because of stuff like
Yes.
that. She didn't just not call the seller or not make or just wait for me. Jackie did what needed to be done so that we
She
didn't lose the
did.
seller.
Yes. And you don't find people like that all the time. That's rare and far in between.
Yep. Yeah. It is. It is.
Gosh.
So
Well, I know our focus was not about finding
no,
people and
it
hiring.
wasn't. That's okay though. Actually, today I really wanted to go into and give the people some information about what are the pros and cons of short-term rentals versus long-term rentals. And when I say short-term rentals, I'm talking about Airbnb, VRBO, long-term nurse stays versus long-term just having one tenant for however long they sign a lease. So I just want to get into. I think we should talk about the pros first. But what do you think, Deborah? Should we talk about the pros or should we talk about the cons? What you
Let's
want
talk
to do?
about the pros. Let's talk about, and we'll just kind of go back and forth, like pros, because I know you are in love with short-term rentals.
I do.
I have one short-term rental, and then I have about I don't know, give or take 20 plus long-term rentals. So I'm
Okay.
definitely excited to hear what you have to say about short-term rentals, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the fence.
All right. Okay. So let me just say, like, one of the first things that I noticed about short term rentals, when we're looking at properties and we're looking at things that buyers are going to consider when they buy a property, like what school district the property is in, how close to a freeway, a property is. Some of those things can deter buyers who are just looking for a normal residential place to live. So the first pro to me is when we're looking at Airbnbs, I don't have to consider any of those things. I don't have
Mm.
to consider the school district. Many people don't care for Dallas ISD. A lot of the really, really great Airbnbs are in the Dallas ISD area, but it doesn't affect the income because people aren't there to live,
Mhm.
permanently. They're just there for a quick stay and then they're leaving. So some of those things don't matter to our customers versus, how they would matter to a long-term tenant. So that's,
Gotcha. I
yeah.
never even thought about that, but that is so true. That is so true. And like Talisa mentioned, in long term, I what I like about it is the stability. I'm able to just plug and play. I get someone, I put a sign out, it's for rent. They're able to lock in at least a 1 year lease with me. As soon as they're in, I'm done. I don't think about that property until 90 days before their lease is coming up for renewal. And so it's
Right.
just a plug and play. Um, that's what I like, where I don't have to think about that property. All I do is drive by every now and then and we do the inspection, but there's nothing to really think about. Once they're in, and we don't have too much to worry about.
Yeah, and that's one thing I can say is a con when it does come to the Airbnb space is that you are having to keep that constant communication with your tenant. From the
Mhm.
time that they get there, you want to make sure that you're welcoming and you're messaging to them. If they need anything during their stay, you may get a message at 10 o'clock at night because they can't open the door, or
Right.
maybe the dishwasher is leaking and they don't know how to stop it or whatever the case. And so it really does require you to be a lot more hands-on, whereas like Deba was saying, with a long-term rental, you put them in there. If they have issues, they're going to deal with it.
Right.
Unless it's something major, they'll contact
Right.
the property manager or whomever. But in our case, we have to pretty much be on standby. And so one of the additional expenses that you have to consider when you're getting a short-term rental is having somebody who can respond to those messages. If you don't want to be that person, then like I did, I hired somebody who was my cleaner, but she was also my co-host. And so when people would respond or they would have issues or whatever, her name is Jasmine. Jasmine would respond to them in the event that I couldn't get to them, and I liked having that because a lot of the times I would be able to get to their questions, but sometimes, like when I was living in Jamaica, I wouldn't get the message. My internet wasn't all that great, so I
Mhm.
wouldn't get the message. Jasmine, if I didn't answer within 5 minutes, she was responding to them, giving them exactly what they needed, and so that is one con I can say about the Airbnb space.
I like that. I like that. One other pro for long term is the overhead. You're not paying overhead. Like with Airbnb, you may still have to pay for the internet. You're paying for Hulu. You're paying for the electricity. You're paying for the water bill. With long term tenants, they take care of that and they handle all that. So that's one. And I guess it depends on where you are, where you have the Airbnb compared to long term of like what are the expenses. But normally with long term, the only expense I'm covering is just the mortgage, that PITI. Everything else they're responsible for.
Ooh, girl, and I'm going to say something to that right now because I mean, and I'm not that both of them have pros and cons, but I mean,
Right.
there are cons with Airbnb. And so, Deborah, you just mentioned expenses. So I'll tell you guys a funny story. Um, so my Airbnb back in December, we had a family that was going to come and stay for a week for Christmas, and they were here to see family, and they were going to be cooking at the Airbnb on Christmas Day, but on Christmas Eve they were going to be cooking at another family's house. And so during this time I was still living in Jamaica, and there was something that happened where I had to change my debit card, my business debit card. I had to change the I don't know if I lost it, or there was an unauthorized charge, but something happened where I changed my debit card. And when we're talking about utility bills, one of the utility bills that we have to pay for is the electrical and the gas, right? And so normally that payment, that expense is deducted automatically out of my business account. Well, apparently it was Encore, I never updated the payment method, and so they had been trying to withdraw my account for the electrical bill, and I didn't see any notice. And so the day that my short term rental guest arrived, my cleaner goes to walk them in. She's giving them a tour, doing her whole thing, and she texts me and she says, "Hey, Tilisa," she says, "I don't think the power's on in here." And I said, what do you mean? And she was like, I'm here doing the walkthrough right now. I'm about to leave the guest in here. And she was like, they can't tell because there's so much natural lighting from the windows. She says, but in a couple of hours, they're going to notice that there's no power here. I'm like, OMG. And so I get on the phone I just tell her, I said, look, Jasmine, tell them that we're having power outage issues and that we're going to get it resolved as quickly as possible. But if they have somewhere that they can sit until we get this resolved, that'd be greatly appreciated. I knew that they were going to give us like a 2-star review. I just knew it, right? Well, luckily that day was Christmas Eve. And so they were going to be at another family member's house. So the lady was like, okay, no problem. Hopefully by the time we get back this evening, the power will be back on. Called Encore, got it situated. It took them 3 hours to get the power back on, but the power was back on before the guests came back, and I still got a 5-star review. But the nerves that were going through when
Yes.
they arrived and there was no power. What? Like, you can't cook. You can't. It's about to get dark. You can't walk clean the
Yeah.
groceries. Could you imagine? So that's one of the things that I can say, that if you're getting into the short-term rental space, those are things that you're going to just have to consider all the time. When you change your debit card, and make sure that you change it with all your utility
Yes.
companies so that you don't have to repeat those
Yes.
errors, but you do become responsible for those expenses. But one thing I can say though is that with Airbnb, you can also double your income, right? And
Right.
so that is, and I would say that's probably not one of the highest reasons on my board of why I like Airbnb. I think one of the highest reasons why I like Airbnb is because of the creativity that I'm able to bring into each Airbnb space and really
Mhm.
create like an experience for the guests. Whereas with long-term rental, it's just you gonna get in there, you ain't got no furniture, you don't have nothing. You create your environment. And
Right,
so
right.
that's just something that I would say that I do personally enjoy, just making that environment for people, but also the income can double. So there's another pro along with some cons.
Yes. And you know what? With that, I think that's like a double-headed sword because yes, you can double your income, but you also have low months.
Yes, yes,
So
yes,
it's like,
yes.
yes, like I'll give you an example. My Airbnb, and looking back on it, I'll tell you about what I would have done differently. My Airbnb is a 5-bedroom Airbnb, and it's in a suburb. It's in Garland suburb, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes away from downtown Dallas. What we have noticed is that in the summer, oh my gosh, it was great. We were doubling our income. It was a beautiful thing because it's a 5-bedroom. So families are coming in, they want to visit people, coming for weddings or just coming to sightsee or tour Dallas area. Perfect. Now that we're back in school and we're starting to get into the fall months, it is slim pickings of who comes. And
Yeah.
so, one thing I will say is that, yes, in the summer, it was great, but now we're like, oh, we're not making enough. We're not making enough sometimes to cover the PITI. So then it's
Mhm.
like, okay, you kind of take the good and bad, and then you just make sure you save your money for those low months. When you're doing long term rental, you already know how much cash flow you're going to get every month. The issue is just making sure you vet your tenants. And
Yeah.
then you're able, I think you can plan better then I think you can plan better and plan your cash flow with long term than you can with
Yeah.
short term. And if you're dependent on that cash flow to pay for your living expenses, your day to day, short term is really hard to do that.
Yes, I will definitely second that, you guys. So during those low months, because we also experience those low months, especially like in October and stuff. One thing that you guys can do to kind of make up that difference is look at alternative ways. So we in the beginning of this, I talked about having like nurses stay for like a long term, 30 days or more. So if you know that November, October is going to be slow, November is going to be slow, and it's not going to start picking back up until about December, then you want to plan ahead for those months that are going to be that are going to be a little bit less traffic, and start getting in those other people, those long-term nurses and things like that, so that you can try to supplement that income. And so yeah, definitely be aware that there are highs and there are lows, but like anything, if you plan for it, you can recover from that discrepancy. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you, Deba. I do.
Hmm. And I mean, I would say long term, I'm trying to think of some other the pros. I feel like I more want to do more cons now for long term is one of the cons is the wear and tear of your property because someone's living in it. Compared
Mhm.
to Airbnb, they're only coming for a couple of days and they can't really mess it up unless they're having this gigantic party, but you're vetting them before they come anyway. So I would say long term is there is wear and tear. There are going to be maintenance issues because they're living in the home. So any little nick and cranny of the house, they're going to be in it.
Right. Yep. And I can second that as well. The quality and the maintenance of the Airbnb is just so much nicer because every single couple days it's being cleaned. It's being thoroughly
Mhm.
cleaned, professionally cleaned. And you can definitely tell because when we moved back from Jamaica, we stayed in our Airbnb for several months, and it's like when we first got there, it was like that fresh, new, clean Airbnb looking space. Everybody felt good in the space. And about a month later, we got cereal boxes on top of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
We start to live in it. And once you start to live in it, it just doesn't look as appealing anymore. And so yes, I can definitely say that the Airbnbs, the property will keep its maintenance a lot easier when you're doing
Mhm.
short-term rental.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and with long-term rental, you're not paying for furniture. Oh my goodness.
Through that. Yep.
Oh my goodness. When we had to do furniture in our Airbnb, again, it was a 5 bedroom. And I guess again with me, I did not have the capacity to try to go and put furniture in myself and put stuff together. So I was like, who can I pay that will make this thing pretty? And I just walk in. But you pay for that, and it
Right.
was a significant amount, and I'm like, I'm still trying to break even from the furniture that I put into that house. So I'm like, I have to keep this as long as I can pay back for this furniture. So we gonna keep it, and I'm not against Airbnb. I'm not. I just think that looking at it again, I probably should have bought something that was a 3 bedroom, 2 bath
Mhm.
instead of such a huge house because I kind of limit how many people or who was going to stay because it's so many rooms.
Right, right. And you know what? When I first thought about doing Airbnb, I really never wanted to do like an apartment. I didn't even want to do a house. I really wanted to do like a small, like container home or something like that
Mhm.
in like a very secluded area. I wanted to create an experience where somebody could get away, feel that camping experience, but still be able to have that luxury feel, be able to have the nice clean bathroom, a nice kitchen that they can cook in. And those, I mean, they're so inexpensive, especially the smaller ones. They're so inexpensive to create, and then you get to just,
Yeah.
hammer it on income. And so that was one of the things that I had was like the main reason why I wanted to get into the Airbnb space. But I mean, there's so many ways that you can get creative with it, other than just single family homes or apartments. And I really feel like when people are looking at going to an Airbnb or they go to a hotel, they really are looking for, they want a vacation. They want to feel
Yeah.
like they're on a vacation. So if I can provide that sort of atmosphere, I think that I'd probably have a ton of those container homes,
Yes, that
Deborah.
sounds a really good idea. And so tell, because this is your wheelhouse, how does someone get started in an Airbnb? And let's say they don't have any money
Yeah.
and they want to start making money. What would be the easiest way for someone to say, I want to get an Airbnb by in 30, 45 days?
Yep. So there's a couple of things, but the first thing that I would say is, um, you want to create an LLC. And the reason why I say this is because you're going to be approaching landlords and you want to be able to present a very professional pitch to them when you're asking them, can I use one of your units as a short-term rental? This is my business. We allow, nurses to come in and stay for 30 days plus. My unit is probably going to be the cleanest out of all of your other units because it's getting cleaned on a regular basis. And so it really just starts with you creating an LLC, creating that business profile so that once you have that, you can start contacting different apartment complexes. And this is the way that you can do it without having to own property.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people want to get into the space, but they don't necessarily have the capital to purchase a property right now. And so this is a way that you can go in. You can have your EIN number serve as your social security number and put down a down payment, put down a deposit, buy some furniture, and then now you're in your Airbnb. I will say though that I don't personally recommend spending your own money on furniture. I would recommend going to a place like Living Spaces. That's where we went. We went to Living Spaces, and we got a corporate account there. And it was super easy. We didn't need to use our social security numbers. All they asked you for was your EIN number, and an amount that you can spend. And so what we did, we took the amount that they approved us for, and we went right over to that clearance section that has really, really nice stuff. And we started, getting everything for our Airbnb. And so within those first 2 months of our Airbnb bringing in revenue, we were able to pay off what we owed on the furniture.
Oh
And
my gosh, why did I not call you then? Why
oh,
did I not call you? Okay, this is a gem. I'm literally learning myself right now. When you are getting into something that you are not familiar with, and don't do me where I just assume and you just go do it. Go out and ask people that have done it already that are doing it so that you have a better way of doing it and they're teaching you going over their mistakes. Go
yes.
ask somebody. Literally, Talisa and I talk about everything. And I never once brought to her like, hey, how you doing the furniture? I just assume that you just got to pay somebody. And I pay somebody a significant amount, I will say, like it still hurts me. I can't even say it out loud because I'm so embarrassed that I paid that much
Oh,
money.
I'm hurt.
So
I'm hurt.
ask somebody. Like this is telling you right now, don't do this alone.
Don't.
Even if you
Don't.
don't know these people, slide in their DM, slide in their personal message. Most of them are still looking at the messages. And if they don't, go to somebody else. You keep going and seeking the information, somebody is going to help you.
They're going to help you. They're going to help you. People are so willing to give information. The beds that we got for our Airbnb were $200. Queen bed, the tufted
Pillow top.
baseboard, pillow
Yeah.
top mattress, all the stuff. And it was just from networking with people who were already in the Airbnb space. And they're like, hey, you can get this queen mattress from Macy's for $200. What? Let me get on here right quick and get my mattress. You gotta. So we honestly did not spend a whole lot of money on the getting the furniture, getting the linens, all of that, because we were connected with so many Airbnb communities that
Mm-hmm.
we just copied, rinsed, and repeat. Okay, there's no reason to recreate the wheel, you guys.
No,
Everything has already been done by millions of people before you. You just choose which one works best for you and add your own little
absolutely.
touches and customize it to where it's to your liking.
Ooh, wow. That's
Yeah.
that is a word right now. If you didn't get anything else, please know reach out to people that are already doing it
Whew,
and get
girl.
around people that you want to be like. Emulate them,
Yes.
like follow them. Don't just say look at their Instagram. Get in the circles and get at the table with them. Bring them some
Yes.
value.
And that's it right there. Bring them some value. Don't just come in asking for stuff and not expecting to give anything in return. People work hard. You
People
know what
work
I mean?
hard, yes.
People work hard and people are busy and they don't have time to just be giving you just free information without you giving them something back. I promise you, Deba and I we've been goodness, we've been in communication for like almost a year now.
Yeah, yeah,
Deba. I
yeah.
think we first spoke last year in October, I think.
I want to say, yeah, I do.
And I just feel like every single time that we talk, we both add value to each other.
Yes, yes,
You know
yes.
what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I just think that that's just so important because when you're getting started, um, ain't nobody got time to be dealing with you and all your questions.
Mm-mm.
No, no, nobody
No.
has time. Figure out what it is that you can provide and offer that to those who are around you who you need something from as well. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And
definitely.
you know what I'm having to learn because I think Talisa, you and I are very similar. Like we just want to give all the information we have. We just want to share. But some people are going to take advantage of your sharing and then they're going to call you for every little thing and they're just going to take, but there's not going to be any value. And one quick story I think about is when I first started in real estate, I literally was listening to every podcast I can get my hands on. I was in these Facebook groups for investment, and all I did was just like read questions, and then I go in the comments and listen and read what someone else responded. You'll get some duds out there, but you'll see some people that are really responding with really great information. And then what I would do is add them as my friend because you know what? You are giving great gems. So you probably are posting stuff that are aligned to what you're talking about in these groups. And so
Right.
you start changing your circle, start changing what you see. And then eventually you get to the point that you can comment and you may not say anything, but man, that was really great information. Thank you for sharing. Then
Right.
you can come back and ask a question. Well, who did you use? How did you do it? You slowly start getting. Now, it would be different if I posted, hey, how do I do an air? What's the ARV? What's a burr? No one has time to tell you top to bottom. You got to do some research yourself. You got to invest in yourself to get the information so that when
Ooh,
you are ready to ask someone that's doing this, you can ask detailed and specific questions so that they can see, oh, this person knows a little bit of something. I'll have
right.
people call me and be like, I want to do what you're doing. What is it that you see that I'm doing? Because there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot going on. Like you want to be a realtor, well, then they'll be like, oh, I want to buy and sell houses. Oh, you want to be a realtor. Do you know what that all entails? No, I want to be a real estate investor. If you don't get on YouTube yourself and figure out what the difference is, because you wasted my time
Mhm.
of me having to break down the difference. I don't have, but if you want to tell me, hey, how do I buy my first rental property? How do I figure out the formula? Hey, I'm here all day to answer that. But I can't
Right.
tell you point one to point Z if you haven't put any investment in yourself. And and, and I remember when I first started, I reached out to someone and he was an investor and his wheelhouse is owner finance. His name is Daniel Klein. Phenomenal guy. He really took me under his wing, but this is why he took me under his wing. when I first immediately talked to him, I said, I want to bring you value. What list are you buying? Let me buy it. And then we split it. If I bring a deal, let's split the deal. Whatever I can do for free for you, I'm going to do it. Do you need me to run across town and check on a property for you? What can I take off your plate? That's how I came to him. And he was like, well, damn, okay. I never asked for money. I never,
Mhm.
all I wanted to know is how can I get in the same circle with you and just walk alongside with you? You walk on a property, cool. I'll just be there. Bring some coffee too.
Right.
I don't want to be a headache. I want it to be something of value. And when he started seeing that, hey, I'm just showing up. You tell me you're going to be somewhere. I'm just going to show up. What do you need? What can I help you with? Then he would start calling me and say, okay, Deba, I just bought this list. I think if we split it this way, this is some things that I think you should say. Then that continued to build upon until when I got a deal, he was like, okay, I'm gonna meet you there. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna bring the paperwork. You're gonna see how I talk to them. You're gonna see what I do. And from there, it flourished into this beautiful relationship. And he, I did bring him the deal. We split it 50-50. That's the problem. Half of us don't want to split nothing for 50-50. Half of us are mad that why should I split 50-50 as I brought the deal? You don't know shit. That's why.
Because you don't
You don't
know.
know. You
Thank
don't know.
you.
I'm trying to help you because honestly, if you need me just as much as I need you, you brought the deal. I got the knowledge. Together, you can grow. And I'd rather take a L today with splitting 50 and then acquiring the knowledge. And now I know the knowledge so that my next 10 deals, oh, I'm just going to call you for a consult. I'm just going to say, hey, I kind of got this going on, but what you think? Because I've already walked it with you and I gave you 50%. That 50% is nothing to now you making me millions. Thank you.
Whew. I hope that y'all listened to what Miss Deborah. I hope that y'all heard what she said. Did you hear what the woman said? Find a way to add value. Don't ask for money. Don't ask for help. Ask how can you add value and look at the circles that you can be in, the opportunities that will present themselves to you. This is not a fluke. This is real life. And
Real
people,
life.
y'all, we make it so hard. We as human beings, we it is our nature to make things hard. But what is the acronym? Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple, stupid. That's all real estate investing is keep it simple, stupid. Be nice. Be someone that people want to be around. Bring positive energy. This shit is hard, but bring positive energy. People want to be around nice people. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
that's
it. People want to be around people that are confident, not arrogant, but confident.
yeah.
People want that. And if you can show that, then people are going to continue to gravitate to you and ask questions. Don't be arrogant like you know it. I tell people all day, you may think I know it, but I really be like, okay, wait a minute. Let me go back and ask somebody because I may
Right.
mess this up.
Because half the time I'm learning from you.
And I'm learning from you. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I thought I knew how to do that. No, I knew another way. Thank you. Be okay
Right.
to know that you don't know everything. That's okay.
It's okay. And you know what, Deborah, when you said that be confident and not arrogant, you guys, it is the exact same thing. Like when we're in high school, you always want the guy who's super confident in himself. And the
Mm,
guys always want the girls that are super confident. Like, I don't need you. Like, I don't like, like it's my choice if I want to
yeah,
be with you. Like that confidence that it exudes off of you
it
and it
does.
attracts people. But you ever notice that if you ever had like a guy who liked you and he was just needy and he just was out like it was just like you just
Mm-mm.
you
Don't
just
be
not
bothered with that. You don't be bothered. You're not,
you
and
don't got
that's what friendships, that's what spouses. That you want somebody that can bring something to the table. And if I'm always the one giving, and I got to tell you how to do this, that, and the other, and you don't bring, man, I don't want to talk to you. And I mean, I have a lot of people that I'm learning. Yeah, you're gonna have to just text me because we ain't got nothing to talk about.
girl. I had somebody reach out to me just 2 days ago and asked me could they work in my business, can they, and I'm like, what in what facet, like what do
Yes.
you do, what, like, it's like I want to work for you. I want you to pay me. I'll do whatever you want me to do, but like I don't need somebody who can just do whatever I need. Like I need
Right. I can't think
specialized
you
in.
and while you're saying that, I'm like, you're making me think way too hard about how I can fit you into this world.
Right.
Sorry. No, I'm already moving on. Like tell me what you can bring me. And it's not a I want to get something out of you. It's more I already got this. I already know this. I'm trying to help you, but you got to help yourself type of mindset.
You got to help yourself. You got to help yourself. So take that note, you guys. If you do have somebody that you'd like to work side by side with, don't have a plan and know exactly how you can contribute to their business. Just like Deba said, hey, show me the list. I will pay for the list. I'll cold call. I'll do whatever I need to do. That's what I can do. That's the value that I could have. But if Deba would have went to him and just said, hey, can I help you in your business, just whatever you need, just tell me what you need and I can fill that spot. Like, no,
Mm-mm,
no,
no,
it'll,
we don't. They don't
yeah.
have time for that. They do not like we. I mean, Talisa just mentioned she was up like at 4 o'clock this morning, and we really are working literally up to almost 10 o'clock at night. We ain't got time to just be sitting on the phone with you talking about what do you want me to do. I don't have time to tell you what you need to do for you. We don't have the time. We don't.
We don't, and you won't have the time either, you guys. You won't
No.
you won't have the time either.
Mm-mm.
You will cherish your time. You will value your time much more. I had an old friend call me the other day, and I wanted to talk to her because I haven't talked to her in so long, and I do love her. And it was really 30 minutes that was like way too long. It, it,
Yes.
it was 30 minutes. That's way too long, to the point where I didn't even have anything of value to say, but wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like I don't there's just nothing, there's no substance to
There's
this
no substance.
conversation. And I'm looking at my clock and I'm like, hey girl, I know that we need to catch up, but I've got to call a seller and I need to call them in the next 5 minutes. So, oh, okay. But it's just like 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
30
30
minutes.
minutes. 30. And I think that's a level of growth because before my life was just regular working, I had all day to sit there and talk because I ain't had nothing to do. And now I'm more like each moment counts, each minute counts. It needs to be worth something that I can lay back in bed at night and be like, okay, I moved the needle to my business, for my life, for everything with my family. And if those don't line up, you just got to go to the wayside. I'm sorry.
That's just what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just what it is.
Yeah.
The times are too crucial, and we don't
Yeah.
have a whole lot of time. We're trying to create generational wealth for grandkids on
Yeah.
top of grandkids on top of grandkids, and I got a lot of work to
I
do.
got a lot of work to do. I got a lot to, and we kind of Talisa and I will get on this journey of like, I know we're talking about long term and short term,
I know.
and we are there. I do want to talk about, we did talk about how you get a short term rental and ways that you can
Yes.
do it. I do want to take a moment and talk about how you can get a long term rental with little to no money.
Oh,
And
yes.
the way that I do that is with the BRRRR strategy. And so with the BRRRR strategy, it is literally you buy a property that's distressed that needs some work. Maybe it's a 2 bedroom, 1.5 bath. Maybe it's a 3 bedroom, but you find a property that you can add value to it. Maybe you can add a bathroom. Maybe you can add a bedroom, because what you're aiming for is to increase that ARV. And remember that ARV is the after repair value. What is the house going to be worth once the house is beautiful and ready for anyone to come and buy it? So you buy it low, you put work in it, maybe about 20, 30,000 to get it up to date and get it up to market value. And then you go and rent it out. You rent it out. Now you have a higher value of what the rents are in that area because the house is already updated. Once it's rented out, you go back to your lender and you tell your lender, hey, I've updated the house. All the updates are in. The house value has significantly gone up, and I want to do a cash out refinance. They go out, they send out an appraiser, he appraises the house to that new value, and my lender will now give me 75 to sometimes 80% of that new value. And so you're able to then do a cash out refinance, pay off the original loan, pay off the repairs, and now you are cash flowing. And I usually tell my mentees we want to cash flow about $200 to $300 a month in the beginning, and that's the lowest amount of cash flow you're going to get, because every time a renter moves out or you renew the lease, you're going to increase the rent, so you're going to continue to make more money. And so then you're able to pay yourself back, pay the lender, pay for the repairs, and now you're cash flowing. And most times you're able to make some money in your pocket non-taxed, because you're just getting the money from the loan, and then your tenant is paying back the house and paying down the mortgage while you're still appreciating this house.
Whew. So, Deba, how does somebody go about getting a loan to be able to do a BRRRR? What's required? What do they need?
So ideally, you're going to start with the hard money lender. And the hard money lender that I work with, shoot me a DM and I can send you his information. He will literally, you just need a credit score of 620 or higher. And you just need to have at least $10,000 to $15,000 in reserves. And if you buy it the right way, all you're paying for is closing costs with this lender. And closing costs is about 10 to 12,000. And the lender will cover the purchase and the rehab. So you're buying a property straight out the gate for less than $10,000.
Okay, okay. So, all right, I got questions, Deborah. I got questions. I know we don't have a whole lot of time. Okay, so when the hard money lenders, if I were to bring them a property today, what are they looking at to determine whether or not they would finance that property? Are they looking at after repair value? Do they want you to come up with those numbers, or are they running those numbers on their end? What does that look like?
Yes, so they are actually running the numbers on their end, and they will send out an appraiser to appraise the house based on the market value of what it will be once you update it. So as soon as you get a house that you're thinking I'm going to buy, you get it under contract, then you go out and you do a bid with your contractor. So you list out all the things that you plan on doing with the house, how much it's going to cost, and then you send that over to the lender. The lender will then send that bid that you sent to him to the appraiser, and the appraiser is going to go out and walk the property. And they're going to run comps around the area and see, okay, when the house is updated, what are the houses selling for in the area? What is the rent in this area? So you ideally, before you purchase, you want to run comps too. And you want to make sure that, hey, this is a really good deal. I try to do, when I'm doing like just a quick analysis of the house, let's say I'm driving around and I see the house is listed for like 200,000. I like to have about $100,000 spread. So that house really needs to be about 300,000 after I update it or more, because I'm able to then, with that $100,000 spread, I have enough money to do a rehab. I have enough money to pay closing costs and pay hard money fees. And I should be able to rent it at a really good price point and make more money. Because ultimately, when I do the BRRRR is going to make me wealthy three different ways. The first way is I'm going to get a tenant in place. So I'm going to cash flow. That's my first way I'm making money. The second way is when I do my cash out refinance, I should get paid to do this. And they pay you hefty if you do it right. And so I
Right.
should be able to walk away with maybe 20 grand. Mind you, only going to put 10 grand in it. So I get my 10 grand back, and then I get another 10 grand just for saying, hey, thank you for taking care of the community.
All right.
That's my second way of making money. My third way is, hey, you know what? 5 years later, I really don't want this property anymore. I'm going to sell it. Now I get more money for appreciation. And then I'm able to put more money in other people's pocket, because I'm going to hire a realtor to list it, and she going to make more money. And I'm okay because there's enough money in the spread. And I've been making money for 5 years off this property anyways.
Anyway, so I mean, damn.
So that's why, like, they paying you to take care of the community.
Wow. So, okay, Deborah. So, okay, I have another question. So, when it comes to hard money, I know you said that they will cover the purchase price, they'll cover the renovations. So, are they just giving you the money up front for the renovations, or are you having to spend your money first and then be reimbursed? What does that look like?
That's a really good question. So ideally with the hard money lender, they only pay you the money based on the repairs completed. They will send out an inspector, and once they inspect the house and see that the work has been done, they will release the funds to you within 24 hours. So it's really going to be a conversation that you have with your contractor and let them know kind of where you are. I usually will pay my contractor a upfront fee to just get going. So that's money I need to already have in my pocket, and I usually pay them about 5 to 10,000, depending on the mass amount of work that we have to do on the property. And then once they start working and start doing things, I usually will do a draw 3 times through the process. At the very beginning, just so I can start getting some money, pay myself back for paying the contractor. And then again, I'll do it again in the middle when we're halfway done. And then at the end, I'll do another draw. So you kind of just need to make sure that you're in true communication with your contractor, because your contractor is trusting you and you're trusting them of, I'm going to give you a little bit of money. I want to see work done. And we just kind of go back and forth until you build that rapport where they know, hey, she always pays me.
So, and that's why you say that somebody needs to have at least 10 to 15,000 sitting
Mm-hmm.
in their account so that they have money to be able to do some of those things before they can do their first draw, right?
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
I strongly recommend doing this burr, get a mentor, because when I first started, I was paying like 30,000 to get into these houses. Why? Because I was buying wrong. I was buying the property way too high. And so I had to bring some of the money towards my rehab to the deal. So if you buy it right and you make sure you really have good contractors, because that's another issue in this business is contractors, you should be able to be successful in it. But you definitely have to I recommend highly, highly get a mentor.
Okay. And what better mentor, you guys, than Miss Deba Douglas herself, because she does this thing. Like she does the
Yes.
thing. And we just said that you want to learn from somebody who's already doing exactly what you're trying to do. Deba does this. She purchases properties like every other week. Girl, she buying up the whole Dallas Metroplex.
Trying to until my husband telling me I need to stop. We're on halts right now.
But seriously, guys, she's done the burr, she's done the cash out refinance, like she's done all the things. So if you're looking for a mentor, no need to look any further because we have one right here. She already said you guys can DM her. Deb, I even think you have your course link, your on your Instagram.
Yes, it
So
is.
yeah, many of ways that you guys can reach out to Deba to get that mentorship. So y'all better get it.
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, there's too much houses, there's too much abundance. Like we all need to get this. Your first property is not going to make you rich, but it will change your life.
Yeah, yeah. It's a long-term game, you guys.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, that's what this is. Building generational wealth. It's a long-term game. You look at a property
Mhm.
and you don't think, okay, what can I get immediately from this property? What's the long-term value
Long
of the
term.
property? And I'll just say this because I know we only have a little bit more time, but as you're analyzing your deals and you're looking at the cash flow potential for each of these properties, um, can always consider the full circle. So even though you may not be cash flowing $500 a month, $600 a month,
Mhm.
even if you're only cash flowing $200 a month, but the appraisals of that property are going to be exponential in the next 5, 10 years, then that's what the goal is. Don't get so caught up on the now.
Right,
You know,
right.
look at what is this property going to yield long term, because that's where we're in, you guys. We're in this for the long term. So I just wanted to give that last little bit of information. Deborah, do we want to drop one more gem for the people before they go?
What gym can we drop? Jump. Do it. Just do it. Stop standing on the sideline. Stop watching everybody else go after their dreams. Just do it. Make a plan. Write it down. You can be successful just like everybody else. The only
Yeah.
thing's holding you back is you. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and focus on you.
Whew. That's it, you guys. Focus on you, put your head down, and get to work, because the Bible says that faith without works is dead.
Dead.
what does that mean? You can have all the faith in the world. I got family members. Oh, I want to do this, and I know God gonna bless me with this because I want to open up a daycare, and God gonna bless me with the finances. But then you're not doing
You're not doing
anything
that.
every single day to make sure you get to that goal. God will allow it to happen, but He wants to know that you're gonna put in some work too.
Yes.
He really
Yeah.
want to know that you're going to go ahead of him and go ahead and start before you start seeing what he's really about to do.
Just have the faith.
Just have the faith and have the work ethic. Get to
Yeah.
work.
Get to work.
All right.
Y'all stay
Um,
blessed.
yes, you guys be blessed. We enjoyed having you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.